Hey YouTube. Hey YouTube. See Isaac Brothers going on in the background. Today I wanted to talk about the biggest challenge that we face. And it's a threat that is more dangerous than ISIS. It's a system and a group of individuals that kill more Americans per year than Al-Qaeda and than any other terrorist group out there. And who am I talking about? Insurance companies. Right here, I'm going to share my personal story. Right here in my lap is my policy document. Now this document, because I get insurance with my employer, it lays out the costs and what's covered by the plan, etc. I have to pay close to $200 a month, which sounds reasonable, right? My company has to pay $785 a month. That's just for me. If I was married with my kids, I'll be looking at $321 a month. My company would be paying $1,300 a month on just that one employee. Now imagine for a second if you have a company with 100 employees or 1,000 employees. Imagine the costs that that company has to incur just in paying healthcare. This is not going into salaries. This is just to pay for healthcare bills, just to pay insurance companies. Okay? And Obamacare did not solve these problems. There were no price controls in the bill. There wasn't a public option. Instead, what we got was a mandate forcing us to buy more private insurance. Now, okay, I'm paying all this money per month. Is this insurance good? I've had to use my healthcare plan once. And it was because my son needed speech therapy. So I'm like thinking, okay, well, my health, insurance will cover this. Even though it says in my plan that, they will cover specialists. They wrote me back and told me that my son talking wasn't considered medically necessary. So what the hell am I paying you money for then? If the one time when I need you, you're not going to provide for me, why the hell am I even paying you? And if you're going to deny me on something that's not even a huge cost, that therapy wasn't that big a deal, right? What are you going to do when I'm actually in a serious situation and you need to pay more money? How can I trust you that you're going to actually pay up? The fact is you can't. And this is a scam that these companies have been running for decades. An insurance company just takes money from people and doesn't pay back anything. We're literally just working to give them cash. And that's it. We get nothing else in return. And think about what that's doing to the economy. Because what it has caused is that it has caused the engineering industry to change. Back in the old days, you work for, you just go to college, you graduate, you get good grades, you'd get your engineering degree, you get a good 9-to-5 job, you work there 10, 20 years, and you retire with a good pension. You can send your kids to college, you could buy a house, you could buy a car, all of that. It's not like that anymore. Companies don't want to pay all of this costs. So what are they doing? Outsourcing jobs. Or they're hiring contractors, which are really direct employees, full-time employees that they'll hire to do the same job. But if they have them as a contractor, then they don't have to pay healthcare costs. This is the society that we live in right now. I have a friend who I was working with, a co-worker of mine, and he told me, he was a contractor. He told me he was paying $13,000 a year in insurance. $13,000 to health insurance for him and his wife. That is ridiculous. We have to fix this healthcare system. Now, I'm paying all this money, and we're all paying all this money. Is this thing good? This policy is a piece of shit. Okay. In addition to paying all of this money per month, you also have to pay a ridiculously high deductible. Mine is $3,000. Since I have my children on the plan, I have to pay $6,000. Now, I asked my healthcare professional to explain what this meant, and what she told me is basically if something serious happens, I'd have to find the $6,000 out of pocket to pay the hospital, and then the insurance company would then kick in and pay the balance after you meet the deductible. And there are limits per year. So say I break a leg, I'll have to pay the $6,000. Say my son breaks his leg, he has to pay $6,000. I have to pay $6,000, and then the insurance company will cover the additional costs, right? Say later during that year, my daughter breaks a leg, I'll have to pay another $6,000 to clear my deductible because my yearly cap is $12,000 per family. And now say I break a leg, we had just a bad year. Because I have that $12,000 cap, the insurance company will then kick in and pay for me, so I won't have to pay that deductible on myself. But which family do you know of has 12 grand just lying around? We have to fix this system. Okay, and then in addition to this, there's tons of other stupid fees. For instance, my personal favorite was the emergency room fee. So get this. If I get in a serious accident and an ambulance has to show up and bring me to the emergency room, when I come to, I'll have to, in addition to paying the deductible and all those other fees and whatever medical expenses I incur in the hospital, I'll have to pay an additional $300 penalty just for using, for going to an emergency room. My healthcare advisor, the insurance lady, was telling me, oh, well, what she recommends is if you get in a situation, have a friend or you call the hospital in advance and tell them that you're coming. Or go on the website and book set up an appointment to see a doctor. So that way you don't have to pay that fee. And she told me, oh, this is just because they want to get people from not going to to prevent people from going to the emergency room. Because emergency room visits are the biggest expense. Well, no freaking shit. If you have to go to the emergency room, it's because it's a freaking emergency and you can't make that phone call. Why would you then charge an additional $300? How many people die per year because these companies refuse to pay out benefits? How many jobs are being shipped overseas right now because companies don't want to pay, $60,000, $70,000 salary, and then in addition to that, pay an extra $1,000 a year to cover people. In addition to the other stuff that they have to pay. What does that do to the cost of production for a company? Let's look at the big picture here. Now let's look at the alternative that Bernie is presenting. Single payer. Expand Medicare for all. Get rid of these damn insurance companies. You know what that will do for the economy? Now you take that burden off for companies. Now, You don't have small businesses that are decided, well, I have to fire somebody every year just so that way I don't, or every 6 months so that way I don't have to pay for insurance costs. You get rid of that. You provide health care for everybody. You also have bargaining power, because guess what? If you're the federal government and you're the only person who's paying healthcare expenses, guess what you can do now? You can tell people, hey, you need to charge less for your services. You have bargaining power. That's what that means. This is how we fix the economy. We fixed the healthcare system. We've moved to single payer. Bernie Sanders is correct. And he's the only person who gets it. He's the only one fighting for this. We need to support him. Hillary doesn't care. The healthcare industry is one of her top donors next to finance. Don't have to take my word for it. I welcome you to call bullshit on everything that I'm saying. Research it for yourself. See if any other claims I'm making are complete bullshit. And now I'm going to ask you a serious question. For all of you people out there who say, yeah, you don't want to vote for Bernie because Bernie's a socialist, and all of this stuff. Or, no, you have all of these stupid kids jumping up talking about, oh, Bernie's a racist, or Bernie, he's so black, Let me ask you this question. Do you like paying for insurance? What would you do with $13,000 extra per year? Can you think of something better to do with that money? Or maybe you're not paying that much. What would you do with $300 per month? $200-$300 per month? Can you think of something you'd rather spend that money on? Instead, the Republicans don't have a plan. You know what their plan is? Their plan is to take tax dollars from poor people and give it to rich people. That's the Republican plan. You support that plan? Vote for Bernie Sanders. He has the solution. That's all I got to say.